Very good, alhamdulillah. Health is fine, alhamdulillah.
Inshallah. طيب inshallah. Sorry أخي for the short notice.
It's okay, no problem. No problem, absolutely no problem. Anything. Alhamdulillah.
طيب, so I just wanted to have a quick meeting because actually we should have met earlier, but
Yes, I understand. I agree. I agree with you.
everyone was you were traveling and then we got delayed
Right. I
in
agree.
organizing the meeting. So inshallah, I wanted to quickly address some of your questions. I think you had some
Sure.
questions about
The VZQ and other things.
yeah. So
So VZQ, I found it everything. What as per my understanding, most of the functionalities which we need looks to me there.
okay.
Except I had a few questions that it is not supporting iOS, right? In the last meeting with
Yeah.
the demonstration from VZQ, we saw that it's not. They're still developing the app for iOS, right? So that's a drawback for you, right? It's a
Yeah.
drawback for us. That's one thing I noticed. And in the mobile, it needs an app. It cannot in a Chrome. It doesn't give all the functionalities. That's another thing, right? In the mobile devices.
Yeah.
And third thing I noticed is I don't know how to get the notes. The notes. How we can let the students take notes and how that can be available. That is not clear to me.
Yeah,
That we
so
need to
I don't
ask.
think we have that function, like our
Okay.
teachers to indicate what did they teach. So those things we have to do custom. But like for example, what would happen is once the teacher closes the class, for example, right?
Right.
Then the teacher, because the classroom, I don't think will be able to give teachers a window or some sort of input option to do anything within the classroom. So once they close the class or finish the class, then they can quickly do it. Or if they open it on another browser, for example, then they could.
Yeah. They can switch the tab and enter the notes or whatever,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
those things are okay. Those things, yeah, those things are okay. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. If that is okay, that is okay, inshallah.
Okay. So in terms of you asked some questions about the student dashboard as well. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah. Correct. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
main question was when I looked at the design, which you guys done, mashallah, it was very good. It's very impressive. My question was to me the enrollment process. I was not able to understand. Are
Okay.
you guys coming with a new enrollment process
No,
or what is this?
no.
Means I see there's like
Yeah,
weekly
so
schedule,
this
all
is
that thing
something
was
that
there.
designer did. So basically, what would happen is, in terms of, so what we wanted to do is obviously we wanted. Let me just share my screen, and
Yes,
then
please.
it'll be easier. Uh,
Yeah, sure, of course, yes.
um, okay, so basically, when a student, um, for example, on this screen, this is the
Right.
dashboard. When a student clicks on schedule class, right? For example,
Yeah.
here, right? What the sister is proposing is we do because this student has already registered and paid, right?
Right.
And after they already have a schedule, and then if they want to add more sessions, for example,
Okay, add more.
right?
Okay.
Exactly,
Okay.
right? So if you want to add a new session,
I understand.
um,
Okay.
then something like this, right? So this is a
So
simple way
modified.
of kind of letting them schedule
Okay, I
from
understand.
now you're still getting the data from the same schedule.
Right. Yeah, of
It's
course,
just a
yes. Yeah.
different way of showing here. Now, if this is too much, we can just redirect the student to the same old system,
It's
right?
not too
For
much.
example,
That's not like too much, but
yeah,
we just need to do it. We can, I mean, see, it's all the time allocation. I mean, if you
yeah,
guys can allocate time for this, yeah, we can do it. Or yeah, it's up to us
yeah.
to decide.
So the next one
It
is
looks good though. Yeah.
like, for
Yeah.
example, and then so this one, the sister made a mistake, right? So the
Okay.
mistake was after the student selects the time, right?
Yeah.
it should really take them to the billing summary page. Remember the billing summary page? Sorry, the
Right,
summary
right,
page?
right, right, right. Of course.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. Right.
going to
Yeah.
have new charges and different things like that, right? So I asked her
Right.
to, because
Right.
it's not that a student can schedule from here. Yes, the once the student says schedule me, then it takes them to the summary page, right? And then where they see their
Right.
charges or new charges and all those things, right? So that screen would be the same, but it would be reorganized just to add a new class, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
she hasn't finished that one, right?
Okay.
Um, so essentially, one, two, three. These three screens you can say are done, and then this one is the mobile menu, right? Um,
Okay.
is done, but if you're to read, uh, so for example,
Business logic. Yeah.
yeah, like when I wrote the student dashboard, I think I shared it with you, and I wanted to for you to review them, and inshallah. Um, so here, sorry, I'm going to open this again. Okay, so user stories. So student dashboard. Yeah, so here you go. So this one. So this is a document I shared. I'm not sure if you had a chance to review it, but this basically describes that page and what's going to happen.
Okay.
Scheduling. The So this was just an attempt to make it easy for the student to reschedule. That's all, right? I mean,
Okay.
add new
Okay.
classes from their home screen instead of going to, for example. So our idea is student would go into um, billing, right? And then from
Okay.
billing, they would be able to. So, for example, in billing, they have view or update payment method, right? And they have update billing address, and then they could cancel subscriptions from there. And then, sorry, there's a rescheduling section
Right.
under the profile. So when they click here, let's say when they click um, on this icon here, right? You see Nuruddin here. So it will say
Right.
account settings, for example, okay, and then they could go
Right.
there to access these options: profile billing, secondary users, enroll others, reschedule. So in reschedule, what we do is the same process, right? Now, if a student wishes to keep the same number of classes but change day or time only, for example, then,
Yeah.
for example, we if the student has, for example, just one class, if they're only enrolled into one class, then we keep them on the same format as single day enrollment. If they have multiple classes, for example, then we keep
Yeah.
them on the same format. Remember the search results for multiple classes?
Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we keep them on a similar format like that, so that it's simple for them to utilize and all that. Right? Again, it's the same thing. It's just for multiple classes we allow them to select more than one, and for the single class we just allow them to select one, right? And for
Okay.
multiple
Yeah.
classes for the student, because this is not a teacher change, so the timing that would be coming on the student view is the timing of the student's current teacher. Only his
Right.
or her time, right? Um, let me. I know it might be a little bit too much. Let me just refresh your memory. So here we go to your parents. So so we
Yeah. It looks a little bit small to me. That's okay. Yeah. But I know the screen. Yeah. Tell me.
let me just move this. Uh,
It's okay. Yeah. 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 We know the screen. Yeah. Tell me what it.
yeah, Yeah.
What are you trying to refresh my memory?
So
Yes, please.
now this is students not going to see any of this. What they're going to see is essentially this one. Remember where
Yeah,
we
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Last
have
screen. Lost screen. Lost screen.
yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
last
We call this last screen on the process of selection of time slot. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Okay,
And
very
then
good.
at
Yeah,
the
okay.
bottom here you have time selected, you know?
Yes, yes, correct. Yes,
So
yes.
they can browse between the options and then they just
The
select
options and they can change. Yeah, if they want to change,
exactly.
they can
For
change,
single
right?
day is the same thing
Okay,
obviously, but then remember for single day it's
correct.
also but they can only select one. So it's
Yeah, they can
we'll
only
take
select
them to
one. So we
the
need to remember that, right? So we need to
yeah,
remember that what is it initially, what he has opted, single or multiple.
yeah.
Depending based on that, we allow them to select one or multiple.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay,
we'll
I
give
understand.
them option basically. So keep the same number of classes. For example, if they say reschedule, and then so this is something that the sister will design, inshallah, and then you'll get the design.
Okay,
So it will say something like, "I wish to keep the same number of classes. I wish to reduce or increase." So for reduction
yeah,
and increase, it's the same thing that they go to because so if it's a multiple day then they go because reduction can be only done by students who take multiple days, right?
yeah,
And increase will also take the student to the multiple days, correct?
yeah, correct,
So both
correct.
reduction and increase will take the student to the multiple days screen. However, if
So,
the
so basically, in the single, they can do an increase, right? They can do an increase that will become multiple day for them, right?
but in the single,
And
if
in
they
the
want to
multiple day, can
reduce, then we give a
sorry.
pop-up message telling them to go to
Ah,
billing to cancel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, building. Okay, okay.
Okay, and then we can even give them a button and take them to that page or something like that, right? So
Okay, and from the multiple, can they decrease it to become single? Can they
yeah,
make it single? They
yeah,
can, right?
yeah.
Okay,
So
okay,
they
okay.
can
Okay,
basically
one thing it was not clear for me on the design was, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, after you're done with this, I want to ask you a question on the design. One more, you need to go
go ahead.
with this. Yeah, actually, one thing I was not clear to me on the design is, so basically, when the student logs in, what is that they're going to see? Is they're going to
Yeah.
see
So
new
after the
design?
student has enrolled, right?
Yeah.
This is what this.
Not after, yes, and not after they have enrolled. My question was after they have registered, what they will see. They will
So
see
they,
this existing old screens
any
we have,
student who
or they will see your new design. Means what is that they will see after
no, no.
the
So
register?
any student who has
They log
not
in.
enrolled, right?
Yeah, not enrolled, not
Yeah.
enrolled.
So we take them to the
Yeah,
screen where we're asking them, "Are you registering for yourself or are you registering for a child?"
that screen we will show, right? That
That's,
screen what we are doing now, then what we are doing now.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay,
Right?
okay.
But once
And
they
these
enroll,
new screens,
yeah,
these new screens only for after the enrollment, huh? After the enrollment.
yeah.
Okay, I understand. Okay, this is what
So
I got.
this basically becomes the control center for the student. So every time after they enroll, they manage everything.
Okay, okay, I got it. Mashallah. Okay, very good. Fantastic. So basically, it's all automatic. It's all automatic. Means after the register, we go to that flow which we are doing now, and
Yeah,
after the enrollment, we go into this flow which we are seeing now. This new
exactly.
design.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Alhamdulillah.
Because we
That's
don't
what
want
my question.
student to have access to any of this until they enroll, right? There's no point. What's the point of them?
Yes, correct.
Like,
I agree with you. I
the
agree with you.
data here is relevant to a student who enrolled, right?
Yes, of course, of course.
So,
Okay, Alhamdulillah. So basically, so basically, in your opinion, how soon we should be getting this? When we will be getting this designs?
yeah, so
So
the
we are in the
system,
teacher module right now, right? You know the status, right? We are in the teacher module now,
yeah,
and we have a half done. I mean, we have brought all the screens from admin to the teacher already. We already brought all the screens from the admin. What we have done for the teacher module, we brought it into the teacher login. Now we are doing that student search and all the student search the functionality
yeah.
for the teacher to search the student. We are doing that. So basically, we are trying to finish it up. Basically, trying to finish it up.
Okay,
Inshallah.
so I think you asked a question about what's the student
Correct.
profile view the teacher will see, right?
Right. Right. Of course. Yes. 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 Of
Yeah,
course. Yes.
so
The
that
question.
one,
Yes.
what I want to do is, and I don't know how this is gonna work. I wanted to ask you this
Tell
question.
me.
Um,
Yes,
what
please.
I wanted to do is because this design here is going to have a student profile view. Let me. you
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
invasion. So I didn't want to redo the work if it was possible. Basically, what I wanted to do was let me show you. Not this one. So here, so this is how it's going to be, right? So if you click down here, for example, you will see profile, billing, secondary users reschedule, right? And then you see
Right, right.
profile, right? Learning goals, core fluency. So it will be something like this. So what I was thinking is, once we complete this portion for the student, then we could
Okay.
replicate and just show the teachers some of the data in non-write format, right? Because teacher won't be able to edit; they just see it, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking
Yeah.
if we could do that, that would be then that like we don't need to replicate the work. You do the same feed into the teachers as the one that gets populated here. So that was my idea. What do you think about that?
Again, I'm trying to understand. So basically, this screen what you're showing me now, is that what
Yeah,
you want us to bring in into the Metronics so that
yeah. So I'm
so
wondering
the
what are your thoughts?
teacher
Do
when
you
they
think we
click.
could do something like that?
Yeah, yeah, we can do it. Of course, we can do it, but we need a little bit of help from you.
Of
Like
course,
actually,
of
what are you
course.
going to
So
what are we going to show under the term your profile, for example? Yeah, we need
yeah.
some help from you
So
to
I
translate the
so
data into this format what you are showing us. Yes, please.
So the designer is working on this right now, right? And
Okay, okay.
I'm hoping, inshallah, hopefully by this weekend she finishes, and then I can show you
Yeah,
exactly what. But it's going to look some. So so there's
something
like the
like this. Okay,
profile. Yeah,
alhamdulillah.
and
Fine, alhamdulillah. Yeah, we can do it. Of course, we can do it.
yeah, and
Yeah, it looks good to me. It looks so easy to me. Yeah, it looks such simple to me. Simple because it has no fields or anything. It's just text, right? It's all kind of narrative text, right? Kind of text kind
okay.
of
So
thing, or it will have actual fields. It will have actual
okay,
fields.
let me give you the content for it. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
actually the content is here. So student will be able to update email, name, email, reset password, phone, location, gender, age. So gender, I don't think we would allow to change, right? But we maybe need to for admin to allow to change the gender, um,
Okay.
just in case someone selects something wrong or
Yeah,
something.
wrongly entered. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Age group, learning goals, Arabic reading fluency. So these are basic ones that we already have. And then
Okay.
optional info is where we want this in
Okay.
these fields, because our teachers keep asking about this, and this is why we added this. Education
Okay.
background, ethnic background, detailed learning goals and objectives, past learning experience, personal
Okay. Is this fields are only view only? Is this fields only view only, or can also be updatable by the admin?
so
Updatable,
students can
modifiable.
edit it, yeah, but the
Okay.
teachers will be view only.
But we are now talking from the context of administrator or the teacher, right? Who is viewing the profile of the
Yeah,
student,
so the teacher
right?
can
Is it?
only read but cannot
You can
write.
only read only. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. I understand. Okay.
But the student and the admin can
Of
edit.
course, yeah, they can edit. Okay. I understand.
And then tips, and then like something like tips for suggestions for teacher or educator, personal learning habits. So something really interesting like this, for example, a person sometimes knows what best works for them in terms of learning, right? So let's say they might think, you know what, generally I like to finish the difficult things first and then move on to this easy things. Or someone say, you know, I need
Right.
to slowly start learning from easy things and then I move on to difficult things, right? So sometimes you have people
Okay.
that know are aware about their learning goals and like habits and things like that. Uh, this one is a repeat, right? And so basically able to do that, right? Um,
Right.
and, and then there's communication preference. So we want to give students ability to select, for example, or give us what's the best way to communicate with them, for example. And if they would
Yeah.
wish to receive weekly blog or social media posts, for example, and whether we can contact them for marketing or surveys or donation to grow the program, etc. So these are the
Right.
fields that are going to be there, and this is
Okay.
what the
Right.
teacher can see, essentially.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Well,
sure. Actually, if you can able to finish the design, then I
yeah.
can comment on it. If that will be possible for us to bring in Metronic, but I would just say it should be possible. It's nothing like that we cannot do or anything. Just a normal screen, so we can do it. Inshallah, we can bring it.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum
Walaikum
salam.
assalam.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. The message that I just got the message. I think there was a slight delay on my end.
No problem. Sorry, I had to start because Mustafa is
Oh,
waiting for me to drop off some stuff, and
no, 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 not a problem, Akhi. Sorry, not a problem at all. I was actually just sitting on my desk and the messages just came through, and then I was like, oh my God, it's already a few minutes late. So,
like no problem. So we're just reviewing some of the functions in the student dashboard with Brother Abdul Ahad,
okay.
and with addressing, reducing number of classes, increase number of classes. We discussed those, and then so and then donation for a student um, is something that we have there. I want you to review it, but I don't think we will do this one now, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
sure. Yeah, of course. All right.
for now, we may not enable it, right? Uh,
Right.
but
Let
it,
me go through it also. Yeah, I did not go in detail. Yeah, I just had a skim through it. I did not went through it. Let me also go through it. See if I have any questions.
yeah,
And yeah, but the thing actually, I had these questions, important questions, which you kind of answered. Alhamdulillah, those kind of question I had, which you kind of answered. So that was her. That was actually blocking me. Alhamdulillah. So let me go through it. Inshallah, go over it.
okay. So that's basically now what we want to do. So I think the teacher profile, it's it's we try to keep it simple, obviously, right? Um,
Yes.
for the teacher, and but some of the UI, I don't know. I was actually going to work on it on the plane tomorrow. I have like a 15-hour flight. Um,
Oh,
so I,
okay.
so I was going to work, for example. So I know I did this one, and then but teacher's dashboard is not exactly clear. For example, because today's schedule in list with upcoming class notification. So things like that we wanted, and then we have the student tab, right, as well. Now,
Notification. I asked a question on the notification. If you remember, are you want us to show the including the past notifications or only the current notification which the user has not seen? Like I asked a question on that.
uh, that's a good question.
So you want to answer it now
General
or
notifications have like so we can put a time box or time limit on it. For example, maybe up to like five five
yesterday,
days,
today?
7 days, or something like a week,
Sorry?
for example.
Yeah. Okay, like a week. Okay, okay, fine,
Because
fine.
teachers
Yeah,
are not. Yeah,
because usually notifications are actually temporary and
yeah,
they keep coming and they keep coming one after another.
yeah,
So usually it doesn't make sense. for you to keep the past notification. It doesn't make usually it doesn't make sense
No, it
unless
doesn't,
you
yeah.
have some business importance.
No.
Unless you tell you have some business importance, like the teachers won't see the notification for 5 days. Something like if you have any
Yeah,
business
so
importance to it, then we can keep it. Otherwise, we just leave it. If you think that your teachers will be online every day, then we don't need to keep it beyond that day. Any past days, yesterday, we don't need to keep. In my just my opinion. I mean,
yeah, so the
that's it.
issue is teachers have weekends, right? So they're
Yeah,
off
yeah,
for 2 days. So we need
yeah.
to
Okay,
definitely do it more than 2 days because they could
okay,
be
okay,
receiving notification on their first day of their weekend, and
okay.
sometimes between the time they stop working and between the time they start working is actually 36 hours.
Then let's keep for the whole week.
Yeah, it's like
Then
it's like
let's
it's
keep
like
in that
60
case.
hours.
Keep it for a week. Keep it for a week, inshallah. Keep it for a
Yeah,
week,
so
so
it's
that
like
will take care
60
of it,
hours.
inshallah.
It's like 2.5 days sometimes. So that's why
Okay, let's keep it for a week if you want. If you want, we
I
can keep
think
it for a
one
week,
week is more
and
than enough.
we
Yeah,
okay, 1 week or 5 days, whatever you suggest, we will do it.
exactly. Even 5 days is fine because teachers logging in,
Okay, okay, let's do
right?
5 days, inshallah.
Yeah,
Let's do
five
five
days
days.
is fine, no
Okay,
problem. I mean,
okay,
there's no
we'll do
reason
that.
for history of notifications. I don't think there is any need for that. Um, yeah, so uh, I guess view timetable is simple. Access training resources. Now this is a big piece that
Yeah, yeah.
we need your help, and I asked Hussam also to help because I don't know. I'm literally stuck on I don't how to organize this because if you review the curriculum and other resources, because we need to. So the curriculum input, for example, so there's three sides to it, right? The admin, uh, or someone with is is able to create the resources, and then they publish it to the students or the teachers or both, right?
Okay,
And so for example, because we have student resources that are separate, and then teaching resources that are separate. Now, student resources, students should have access, but teachers need to have both teaching resources and the student resources access, right? For example,
okay. Yeah,
that's why, like, if you go to teacher module, like, if you look at the navigation, right? What I did is classroom, and then you have start class, all that, and then you have student curriculum, and then you have teaching resources,
right.
right? And so the teacher needs to see both. And the thing is, in terms of
Okay,
the nesting, here is the nesting of that, right? So you have, let's say, this is the course level, right? Student curriculum. So let's say 101 Quran, and then you have components. You have overview, tajweed, tahfiz, tafsir,
right,
and then within each of
right.
them you have level and then lesson. I'm not sure if you explored our uh, current
Side, current.
yeah. So our current, let me show you. Inshallah, we'll try to wrap up in 10 minutes, inshallah, hopefully. Um,
Okay,
so if you go to resources here, right? So here are
right.
the components. Like, ignore this text here. Here are the components that we definitely,
Okay,
and then we have like other things like mushaf and things we want to put in for students as additional resources, right? For example, so let's say we go to Tajweed, okay? Now,
okay,
and then you have levels, 5 levels,
okay.
okay? Now, by the way, this is being redesigned. Now, this content, what you see here, this page is what is published to the student,
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see. I understand.
okay? And then there's like student has access to these slides, so, for example. So does the teacher, right?
Okay,
Um, and then what you have is these are the details. Now this is a teaching resource. Now
right,
some of the teachers will share their screen on the class, right, and utilize this for the student to view. However, students have a condensed version of this for the Tajweed section in their slides.
right,
Okay,
right. Very
but the
good.
detailed section is here. right?
Right.
Introduction to Arabic, notable features of and this is like the first lesson. Okay, so first lesson is, for example, you know, introduction to letters, for example, the Arabic alphabets. So here you don't see much for a student, but for the teacher, okay, this is what I have to teach in the class, right? And
Right.
you see like all this content with the teacher. And so basically this is, that's it. That's level, that's first class. That until five is the first class, first lesson. Now it gets complicated a little bit when obviously for tafsir it's a lot more content, right? To show
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
give
of
you an
course. Yeah.
example, uh, tafsir we have. So this is a basic summary of lesson, right? Details for this level one. Okay, what's going to be. And then you have introduction to learning Quran. Right? So this is a small one, but let me go into a different lesson. So this student is level one. The student is learning du'as and things like that. I think lesson 20 might be Surah Fatiha. Tashahud part. So these are still like basic things. There you go.
Okay.
So here you see tafsir of Surah
Very
Ikhlas,
class.
right? Um, and like for example, Surah Fatiha, Ayah
Fatiha.
7, Part 2. You know, so the tafsir content can get, our tafsir content currently is like 1500 pages, right?
Mashallah.
Here's
Very
something
good.
else we
Alhamdulillah.
have to kind of show you. So here,
Have you decided on the CMS that open source, whatever that? Have you decided on that? Have you decided actually how we are going to do the
I don't know,
CMS?
Aki. So that's why I'm asking. I don't know how to what to do, right? Because the
I think
complexity and
yeah,
the
we have given you some suggestions, right? If you can able to confirm that, I think yeah, I don't know.
you made
Will
it,
it withstand?
you
I don't
asked
know.
for
Will it withstand?
Fuala, right? Fuala is okay.
Sorry?
I'm okay with
Yeah.
Fuala, no problem.
Okay.
But the thing
Koala is
is
fine,
that,
right?
yeah, the nesting has to be, and the editing, for example, has to be
This we
a little
can
bit more
bring it.
advanced
We
than
can
the,
bring it. This hierarchy. We can bring it from our application, and we use the Koala only for the editing of the text, only for
yeah,
editing, styling the text, and those kind of
yeah,
stuff.
which is fine, which I have no problem with, right?
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, very good.
The only thing is, what I wanted to show you was in WordPress, right? When I
Yeah,
wanted you to, I don't know if you're familiar with WordPress. When you're creating
yeah,
content on WordPress, when you go to create a post, right?
yeah.
What you can do is you can categorize content. You can put, select them into different levels and less like, what this is the tree, category tree. These are the
Okay,
tags.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same thing. Yeah, we can also bring that, right? We can also bring it. If we are going to
Yeah,
build our own tree, and we can
exactly.
associate the content with that tree. Yeah, we can, whatever the navigation, we can come with that navigation, whatever the however the flow or the navigation, whatever is
Because
makes it
some
easy.
content, like
We can
you
even
have
do like
the content gets
sorry.
published at different levels, right? So some content are
Yeah,
seen by the
no problem.
teachers, some
No
contents are
problem. Yeah, we
seen
can do that.
by students, right?
Yeah, all that we
So for
can bring it.
example,
All that will be bring it. Inshallah. Yes, yes,
yeah,
please.
so this is something that the students have, just so you know, and the teachers have. So for example, in
Right.
Surah Al-Inshiqaq, right? What are the major issues, major themes of Surah Al-Inshiqaq? So the
Okay.
teacher can give student a summary, right, of Surah Al-Inshiqaq from here, right?
Right.
Then go into the details of ayah by ayah, for example,
Yes. Inshallah.
right? So this is like a summary of our topics of discussion that we created, right? Mashallah, Mustafa did
Right.
all the work here, and
Oh, mashallah. Very good.
so we basically created all these resources. It took a long time, obviously, but all of this was done so that we standardize learning, right? That's the most important
Yes, of
thing,
course.
because otherwise different
Yes.
teachers teaching different things, students are not learning, you know uh, uniform things. Teachers And then also what kind of information teachers give. We also monitor that in case teachers teaching incorrect content, right, as well. That's also important, you
Right.
know. So,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
so those are the implications of this. And if I go back to nesting here, so you'll see this is how it is.
Yeah, the nesting, yes.
But
It's
this
like
is the
a
complex, this is the most complicated it will get. When
right,
we add other courses and things, it's like more focused. For example, we could teach Tafsir of Surah Kahf as a one course, and that would be
right,
easier, right? It won't have complex nesting like this, right? But this one is a
right.
little bit complex nesting because it's a comprehensive course. So that's where I needed some ideas and thoughts, and like I was thinking, like and we discussed with Hussam last night. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us today. Um, but
Okay.
we discussed with Hussam last night, and he said he's also going to look into it. But and WordPress,
I think let's see if the Metronics provides some kind of tree structure, some kind of what
yeah,
is a
there is
tree
something.
gadgets, tree gadgets. If there is a tree gadget, then probably a tree gadget would fit this purpose. You
Yeah,
can
there
have a
is.
tree gadget. You can go as much nested as you want. You can go as many nesting levels as you want.
Yeah,
So we will use some interface where we keep basically building this nesting structure of a tree, like a tree. Basically level and basically sub level and sub nested level with the tree with the tree gadget. And to post the content and to edit the content, we use the fall actually.
yeah. So that's
So we
fine.
could do
Like
something like that.
Corolla is
We
fine
could do
as long
something.
as
I think you
Corolla
need to
comes.
start with something. You need to start with something, then enhance it. Those kind of things.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
also, if
So
you want to give me access, yeah. Also, if you want to give me access to your existing site, this learning, what is it? This learning zone,
okay,
Tanzeel
so
learning zone. Then
yeah, so you
we can also try to see how you guys are doing it and try to
sure.
extract actually some of the. So at least do what they are doing and something better than that. Something we will get some samples, something from there. Inshallah.
Where is the nesting? Actually, thing has nesting. Um, Medtronic, this theme that we purchased, it has nesting actually. I noticed it and I saved it somewhere, but I don't remember where did I save it. Uh, set up resources.
No issues, no issues. If you cannot find this, okay, no problem because we also
Okay,
have a
I'll try to
timeline.
find
So
it
basically,
and
it's okay.
send
Yeah,
you the link,
yeah,
inshallah.
no problem. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Now, in terms of
Yeah, we will
access,
also look in. We will also look at this place. Tell me.
so you,
The access is not mandatory. If it is
yeah.
some kind of
No,
privacy issue, it's not a
shall I
mandatory.
give you?
But
Shall I?
yeah, you
You
can also
want?
give me later. Later, you can also give me, or you can
Okay.
create me a limited user who
Yeah, the issue is actually we
things.
don't have. Here's the problem, right? You see, you go to admin users. Okay, so everyone
Yeah.
has the same access.
Oh, okay, okay. There's a problem. Okay, okay. Then leave it. In this case, leave it. Yeah, we will
No,
ask you
no, it's okay.
to give you some screenshots.
Let me just make you one, and then
No,
I
you
can
don't need
give
to,
you.
out of the way if it is not,
No, no,
you
no.
don't need to.
It's important for you to
Okay,
have access.
fine.
Right?
Okay, fine, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Then guess, inshallah, I will keep it like amana. Keep it like amana, inshallah. Try
So,
to do exactly what I need.
so the password I'll put as your email as well. Okay.
Okay, inshallah, sure.
Uh,
Okay, the same like the email address.
yeah, I'll just give you super admin. I don't know what the student care mean. Actually, there seems to be 3 level access. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Time zone. We have to select India.
India, put India for me.
Indian
I
first.
can put any, yeah. India, Maldives, pata nahi. Probably same.
All the same.
I don't know. I don't know. India, Maldives doesn't look like to me same.
Doesn't look
It's a
like
little bit far away. Yeah, it's a little bit far away island. So I don't think it should be the same.
Asia.
It should pick anything like India, Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, something other than any major city of
Mal-
India should be fine. Maldives
Hmm.
is not a city of India.
Dubai. You're not in Dubai, right?
Again, sorry, I'm not able to hear you properly.
Kolkata. There you go. Kolkata. Same thing, right?
Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fine, fine.
Okay.
Just share with us, fine.
So you can access it if you go. Oh,
I think you put me as a female, if I'm not wrong.
no, I put gender male.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's something at the top. Okay, fine.
Okay. Okay. I didn't even know you could do that.
And okay, can if you don't mind, can you email me this or
Yeah. So
are
you
you
basically go to Learning Zone.
learning? So okay, let me take a note of it. Yeah, so, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, you're doing email. That's good, very good. Yeah, that's fine. And put my user ID.
Oh, sorry.
The user ID, yeah, 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 you already told me the
It's
user ID
just
is
your
my email
Clutcher
ID.
email and the Clutcher email as the password and the user ID. That's it.
Password is what? What is password is it?
Same thing.
Email
The
address.
email ID.
Email ID is the password also as
Password.
in, well, as well,
Yeah.
right? Email address. Okay, password is same as email. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
fine.
Akhi, in terms of, I mean, I'm late. I have to. Sorry, Akhi,
Okay, fine.
I have to get going. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will try
please.
to test
You
out
can.
the system, inshallah, tomorrow. Hopefully, while I'm waiting for the plane.
Okay.
That, and I'm not sure if I'll have access to internet on the plane. But I have a stopover for over 24 hours, so I will try to see if I can also get time, inshallah. It's just been really hectic here. I was doing all these user stories because I didn't want my travel to impact so much of the work.
I
To get
thought on your last chat you said you're trying to put a halt on your travel. When I was inviting you for the wedding, you said something like
yeah,
you put a halt on the
yeah. So
travel or
this
something. Now
one,
you're traveling.
so family travel is not happening, but this one I have to go because it's
Okay. It's a
so
business. Huh? Okay, alhamdulillah.
yeah. So the project in
Alhamdulillah.
Riyadh, the conference we're doing, it's in 3 weeks,
Okay,
and
okay. Allah barik fik.
it's really crunch time. So I'm like working
Alhamdulillah.
like 10 hours a day.
Allah barik fik. May Allah Ta'ala put barakah
I'm
in
making
your
money, but
time
it's
and
just trying
everything.
to build repetition. Let's see if it works.
Alhamdulillah.
Anyway, so I have to go, and then yeah. So
Sure,
inshallah,
sure.
I will have access to internet hopefully after Monday, like stable access after Monday, inshallah. And but until then, I'm available on WhatsApp. Inshallah, if you need anything urgently, you can message me on WhatsApp. Inshallah.
Sure. I'll do it.
Okay, akhi, Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, we'll be in touch.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.